So did you guys see the handout? So many good images are there, right? Many images are there. Till last year, new handout also has been given, right? Okay, okay, good. This is architecture. This will finish architecture. If we are able to finish that handout, we'll see. Okay, we'll take our time. It's not going to be the case that I'll not rush through, because these are important ideas, and without proper instruction, without proper instruction, they are difficult to understand. So I'll not rush through. We'll take our time, and we'll do it. It's fine. Okay, maybe some 2 classes extra is fine for you guys, right? Okay, but not immediately to that too. Okay, I'll take it. Okay, I'll take it. So I'm opening many sections and I'm not winding them up. I can sense it. Okay, but whenever I find time, okay, I'll arrange some online class and I'll do that. Okay, if there is a lockdown. If there is no lockdown, I'll finish them off in a week. Okay, all the sections. I think 1 class for ancient and medieval is pending. One class for modern India is pending, and some 2 sessions for internal security are pending, and this will be maybe 1 or 2 sessions for this also. So maybe in total some 5-6 sessions will be pending, but I'll wind them up. Okay, don't worry. So what were we talking about yesterday? So mainly we started with the architecture. Okay, we told what architecture means. It is the planning and execution of buildings is known as architecture. Okay, so that is what architecture means, and we continued our discussion on architecture. First, we discussed about the various kinds of architecture that are there, forms, that is temple, secular, rock cut, stupa architecture, Indo-Islamic, and modern architecture. So these are the various kinds of architecture that we are going to discuss about. And of these, yesterday we talked about first the Harappan age. We talked about the various dimensions of Harappan age, how the urban planning was done. Okay, this is a very, very important question. Okay, UPSC has asked already a question on the same. Okay, urban planning of the Indus Valley civilization, it forms an inspiration for today's urban planning. So you have to write about the good features of urban planning in Indus Valley civilization. So that's the case. Okay, it was asked for 12.5 marks, I think. Okay, in 2014. So this was a previous year question. Then after that, we went to the next one, that is, I think, cave architecture is the next one we talked about, right? Okay, cave architecture, the features of cave architecture we talked about. I showed you the features too. So rock hollowed cave, single room or multi-chambered, stupa, chaitya, vihara kind, single storied, multi-storied, rectangular, apsidal, circular shapes. Okay, this way there are numerous shapes for the cave temples. There are decorated pillars along the walls, ornamented facades are there, huge windows called chadrashalas are present, pillared porticos are there, and verandas are there. Okay, and along with that, barrel vaulted roof with ribs is there. Then stupa or image at corners. Okay, all of these are the features of a good cave temple. Features of a good cave temple. But all these features are not present in the same thing. You have to remember this. Okay, across the caves, I have taken the good features and I have given them at one place. Okay, now we'll talk about the individual caves. Okay, in individual caves, yesterday I think we already discussed about the Barabar caves. So Barabar caves, even though it is multi-chambered, okay, it doesn't have some of these features, right? It doesn't have a chandrashala. Okay, no balcony in the first floor. Okay, the facade, it is ornamented, but it is a single-storied cave, but not multi-storied cave. Okay, only a single floor is there in the cave. So this way, okay, each cave has only a few of these features. So now we'll see, okay, when it comes to the caves, okay, you open this section where I have explained about the caves from different regions. In the north, okay, the main cave is the Barabar cave of Ashoka Maurya. Then after that we have the Udaygiri and Kandagiri caves. Okay, I'll show you the image and I'll discuss about the cave too. So when it comes to this Udaygiri and Kandagiri cave, it is a Jain cave. Okay, there is a place where the image is given. You can write it down there too. Udaygiri and Kandagiri. Okay, this is the one. This is present in Odisha. And this is the image, Udaygiri and Kandagiri, and it is a Jain cave and it is a Jain vihara. Okay, it is not a chaitya, but it is a vihara. Vihara is the place where the monks stay. Okay, no image. Is it missed or is it given there? Okay, it is a Jain vihar, and the unique feature of this cave is it is a 2-storied cave. It is which one? No, even Jain monks are also, they stay in the vihara, which is also called as basadi. Okay, it can be called as a Jain vihar or Jain basadi. Anything is fine. Okay, I think in Jainism I talked about this word basadi. Okay, basadi means the same thing. Jain vihar or Jain basadi it is called. Basadi is the place where the monks stay. Okay, Barabar is in Bihar. Barabar is in Bihar. Whereas Udaygiri Kandagiri is in Odisha. Is in Odisha. And this is a very famous cave, okay, because here the most important part is these caves were excavated by a person by the name of Kharavela. You write this down. Have been excavated by a person by the name of Kharavela. He is a very important ruler from Odisha. Kharavela, the only important ruler, to say the least, okay, who is of greater national significance is only Kharavela. Okay, only Kharavela. And here in these caves also there are two groups of caves. One is known as Hathi Gumfa and the second is known as Rani Gumfa. Two caves are there. Hathi Gumfa, I'll show the spellings for you. Here Hathi Gumfa is one and Rani Gumfa is the second one. Hathi and Rani. Gumfa means cave. Hathi means elephant cave. Rani Gumfa means the queen's cave. So these are the two caves which are there. Okay, and in the Hathi Gumfa, there is an inscription which has been given by Kharavela. Inscription which has been given by Kharavela. Inscription which has been given by Kharavela. It's a very, very popular inscription of this person. Okay, and this person Kharavela, he belongs to a dynasty called Chedi dynasty. Chedi, C-H-E-D-I, Chedi. Chedi dynasty. He has a title called Mahameghavarman. Okay, Mahameghavarman is his title and he belongs to this dynasty called Chedi dynasty. Chedi dynasty. Okay, sometimes the content of the inscriptions also can be asked as question. Okay, here this inscription, it has very good information about the Magadhan Empire. Okay, this inscription, it has talked about the Magadhan Empire, particularly about a king by the name of Mahapadmananda. You remember this name? Mahapadmananda. It talks about Mahapadmananda. And it says that Mahapadmananda, he has constructed canals in Odisha. Write this statement down. Mahapadmananda has constructed canals in Odisha. Okay, this is one of the important information which comes from this inscription. Hathi Gumfa. Okay, now two-storied caves and they are viharas. This itself is sufficient. And they have a pillared portico as can be seen very clearly. Okay, the features are almost the same. Interior, it is not ornamented or decorated at all. Exterior, okay, there are some sculptures here and there. Okay, but apart from that, some element of ornamentation at facade. Okay, these kind of features are there, but no one is going to specifically ask the features of Hathi Gumfa cave for us. No one is going to ask that question. Okay, there was a question in 2020 also on cave architecture. Okay, 2020 mains they asked a question. It means that you have to write all the examples. So in examples, whatever is significant, I'll tell about it. Is this fine? Now, the next one is, there's a cave called Udaygiri cave. And this Udaygiri cave, it has a cave called Varaha cave. Very, very popular. You write this down. There's a cave called Varaha cave. These are present in Madhya Pradesh and they have been built by Guptas. Naturally, whenever Guptas come into picture, we should consider that this cave is a Hindu temple in fact. This cave is a Hindu temple and it hosts the famous Varaha Murti image. I'll talk about it again in sculpture too. It hosts the famous Varaha Murti image. Varaha Murti image. Okay, it is constructed in Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh, Udaygiri, very popular. Okay, along with this, that in Madhya Pradesh itself, there are one more group of caves called Bhag caves. Okay, Bhag. It's not, image is not given there. Write the term down. Bhag cave. I think in the first slide it is given the name. See this? Where is it? Bhag cave. Okay, Bhag cave is also one important one. And this is also constructed by the Guptas, but the uniqueness of this cave is it is Buddhist. It is Buddhist. Okay, and Bhag cave has paintings in the interior, okay, in a hall called Rang Mandap. Rang Mandap has paintings. Just like Ajanta caves, Bhag caves also have paintings in them. Rang Mandap, it contains paintings, but this is a Buddhist cave. Bhag cave is a Buddhist cave. So these are the important caves of North India. These are just examples. Okay, Kandagiri, Udaygiri, Paravar, Udaygiri and Bhakya. Okay, these are the four examples. Bhakya and Bhakyav's significance is Rag Mandap. The significance of this Udaygiri caves is the Varaha Avatara. Okay, then the significance of this Kharavela's caves are his inscription. Paravar caves, you know the significance. They are the only place for Ajivikas. Now, if you come down to Deccan, in Deccan region, okay, first you see this slide. In Deccan region, the caves have been constructed by Shatavahanas, and after Shatavahanas, the next ruling dynasty which constructed the caves here is this dynasty called Vakatak dynasty. First is Shatavahanas, second is Vakatak, okay, and the third ruling dynasty which constructed is the Chalukyas of Badami is the third ruling dynasty, right? Chalukyas of Badami, to be clear, because there are two Chalukyas, right, in Karnataka. One is Badami and the second one is Kalyani. Okay, the early Chalukyas, Western Chalukyas are Badami Chalukyas. Okay, whereas the Chalukyas of Kalyani are a later day group. So when it comes to Chalukyas of Kalyani, they also constructed this cave architecture or cave temples. And the fourth ruling dynasty to construct is Rashtrakutas. So four ruling dynasties in Deccan, they constructed cave temples, starting with Shatavahanas, then moving to Vakataks, third is Chalukyas, and the fourth is Rashtrakutas. Okay, first we will have a brief discussion on Shatavahanas. In fact, Shatavahanas, they constructed important caves. Only a few examples are given there. You write this down. Karle, Bhaja, Kanheri, Nashik, Pitalkora and Junar. Karle, Bhaja, Kanheri, Nashik, Pitalkora and Junar. These caves, very, very prominent. They have been constructed by the Shatavahanas. Okay, all of these caves are present in the Western Ghats. They are present in, and most of them are in Maharashtra. Okay, Karle, Bhaja, Kanheri, Nashik, Pitalkora and Junar. Okay, cave temples, or not cave temples. All of these caves, they are dedicated as either Buddhist stupas or Buddhist viharas. Buddhist stupa or Buddhist vihara or Buddhist chaitya. Okay, all three are constructed. I'm sorry, stupa, vihara or chaitya. Stupa, vihara or chaitya format. And the beauty of these caves is the Shatavahana caves, all of them, they were excavated by the queens of royal family, but not the kings. Queens of the royal family, but not the kings. Okay, queens are very prominent in Shatavahana Empire. The queens are the ones who excavated these caves. Okay, queens. Queens are the ones who excavated these caves. So, very, very important. Okay, this idea is very important because when the kings were patronizing Hinduism, the queens were Buddhists. Okay, unique division within the family. Okay, husband is Hindu, wife is Buddhist. Okay, very, very prominent. And here there are two inscriptions. One inscription name is Nasik inscription, and the second one is Nanagat inscription. Nashik and Nanagat. Inscription. These two inscriptions are important for us, okay, because they are being given by the Shatavahana queens and they give a lot of information about the Shatavahana kings. Shatavahana kings ke bare mein, they give a lot of information. Okay, I think I have talked about them before too. Yes, ancient medieval mein, Nashik and Nanagat inscription. No? Not for you, but for other people. I think you have not attended those sessions. Did I talk about them or not? I talked about, okay, how Nasik inscription, it is below a frieze of, okay, the sculptures of the Shatavahana kings, but unfortunately the sculptures have faded away and only the feet remain. I have talked about it. Okay, I am sure. If not for you people, I am damn sure that I have talked about them. Okay, so these are very, very important caves, and this is the developmental stage for cave architecture in Deccan region. Developmental stage for cave architecture. Okay, and they mainly focused on Buddhism. So this way they constructed, and most of these caves are present on important trading routes. You write this down. They are present on important trading routes. Important trading routes. Okay, important trading routes. This is very important. Okay, so that's the reason why even some of the travelers, businessmen, okay, all of them, they used to reside in these caves. And they also used to function as lodges. Okay, they used to function as lodges. So very important caves. So next is after Shatavahanas, the next ruling dynasty is Vakatak. Vakataks are Brahmins. Okay, they are Hindus. They are Hindus or Brahmins. They are naturally because of this Brahminical attitude. They focused. Okay, here also they focused on temple construction. But apart from that, here in Vakatak dynasty too, many important caves have been excavated. And the most important cave which has been excavated is Ajanta. Okay, Ajanta, and it was been Vakatak period mein. The caves have dimension of Buddhism. And see, you have to remember one thing. Some caves in Ajanta, they have been excavated by the Shatavahanas. Some other caves, they have been excavated by Vakataks. Okay, so it means that there are many caves, some 16, 17 caves are there. And some of them have been excavated by Shatavahanas. Some others have been excavated by the Vakataks. Okay, and Vakataks also are the ones who, okay, embellished these caves with paintings. Okay, Ajanta painting tradition is associated with Vakataks. It has been associated with Vakataks. So this is the issue. This is the case. Okay, now the next one is Chalukyas. Okay, we have the Chalukyas of Badami, and they constructed the cave temples at 3 places. Okay, Aihole, Badami, and Pattadakal. You people know about it. Chalukyas of Badami, 3rd ruling dynasty. They constructed cave temples at Aihole, Badami, and Pattadakal. And when it comes to these temples, okay, some of them are Jain, some of them are Hindu. Okay, some of them are Jain, and some of them are Hindu. Jain caves, Hindu caves have been constructed by at Aihole, Badami, and Pattadakal. And after that, we have the Rashtrakutas. Rashtrakutas, and the important caves from their period are Ellora and Elephanta. Ellora and Elephanta. And they also constructed caves for Hindus, Jains, and Buddhists. Okay, and the most unique feature of the Rashtrakutas is at Ellora, okay, there is a 3-story. The only example of a 3-storied cave in India is present at Ellora. 3-storied cave. The only example of a 3-storied cave is present at Ellora. A 3-storied cave. Okay, 3 levels are there for the cave. 3-storied cave. Then along with that, okay, Elephanta. It is present near Bombay. It is a very important cave temple. Okay, we'll talk about Elephanta later too. Okay, because the Elephanta is important from the perspective of sculpture. We'll talk about it. Yes, and at Ellora, I think all of you might be knowing about the Kailasa Temple. The Kalasana Temple is the most famous one at Ellora, which is in fact the culmination of the cave architecture. I'll talk about how it is a culmination of cave architecture. And when it comes to south, in south there are only 2 cave temples, two dynasties who contributed to cave temples. One is the Pallavas, and their cave temples are known as Mandapas. Pallavas cave temples are called Mandapas, and there are also cave temples of Pandyas too. Cave temples of Pandyas. The most prominent cave temple of Pandyas is this place called Sittanavasal. Sittanavasal is the place where the Pandya caves are present. And when it comes to the Pandyan caves, okay, some of the caves are Jain, some of the caves are Hindu. Okay, similarly for Pallavas also, some caves are Jain and some caves are Hindu. Jain and Hindu, Jain and Hindu. So this is the story of caves. I'll show you some images. Okay, North Indian caves, Udayagiri you have seen. Now in Deccan, okay, I have shown the images of 3 caves during Shandavana period. I have given some example. Okay, Nashik caves are also known as Panduleni caves. Nashik caves are also known as Panduleni caves. They are very crude and in the initial forms of development. Slowly, okay, you can see a evolution where a pillared portico is constructed in front and 2-story caves are there. Okay, this is at Kanheri. Okay, Kanheri, and there are stairs leading to the caves. And this is the Jogeshwari cave, where for the first time in the interior, okay, these pillars were established. Okay, under pillar established kiya in Jogeshwari caves. So Jogeshwari, Kanheri, and Nashik. Okay, I have just shown the evolution. Now, if you see, okay, these are the other important caves. This is the Badami caves at Badami. Okay, here also the same structure, pillared portico, and inside you have a cave. And I think this is the image of Ajanta cave. Ajanta cave with Chandrashala. I have shown this image already to you. And look at the exterior. It is so ornamented. The facade is so well ornamented. Then apart from that, this is the famous cave at Aihole, which is known as Ravan Fadi cave. The Ravanpadi cave, it is very important sculpturally, okay, because this shows the image of, okay, Ravana moving Mount Kailasa. Okay, there is a very famous image in Deccan region. Okay, Ravana moving Mount Kailasa because he wants the grace of Lord Shiva. Okay, grace of Lord Shiva, and he also takes out his own, I think you know about this thing, right? Okay, his own, what is this called? Atmalinga is one thing, and second thing is he also, I think, okay, whether I'm right or wrong, I don't exactly remember, but remember that, okay, Ravana at one point of time, he lifted Mount Kailasa and he moved it in order to get the grace of Lord Shiva, okay, in order to get the Atmalinga from Shiva. Yes, I think this is the case. So this is depicted in this Ravanpadi cave at Aihole, and apart from this also, there are many other images. I'll talk about the images too a little now. Okay, now, the next one is, these are the Ajanta caves, okay, Ajanta caves interior. All the features I have talked about already. Okay, all the features I have talked about. This at end there will be a stupa, a pillar, pillars close to the wall, and on top of it also there is a decorative frieze, and on top of it, okay, we have this barrel vaulted roof kind of structure. So this is the case, and this is the Kailasa Temple at Ellora. Okay, Kailasa Temple at Ellora, and it is the peak or culmination of the cave temple architecture. The cave temple architecture ka culmination this is, because till now, okay, what the artists did, okay, they started excavating the wall from one end, right? Okay, and they constructed a structure in the interior. Okay, but now what they did is they reversed the process. Okay, rather than making a structure in the interior, they started carving the rock from top to bottom, and they made a temple out of, okay, the mountain, temple out of the mountain, and it is a sculpture in its own right, because it is entirely sculpted. Nothing is brought from outside, just the outside rock has been removed. Okay, so it is considered as a sculpted temple of India. It is considered as a sculpted temple of India, and this temple of Rashtrakutas, that is known as the Kailasa Temple, it is constructed in the Dravida style. It is constructed in the Dravida style. This is very, very important point. It is constructed in, this image is missing. I think it's there. Okay, it's there. So it is constructed in a Dravida style. It is constructed in Dravida style. And this Kailasa Temple, it, okay, showcases an admixture of Shiva Bhakti and Vaishnava Bhakti. This is important. Shiva Bhakti and Vaishnava Bhakti. Admixture it showcases. Shiva Bhakti and Vaishnava Bhakti, admixture it showcases. Okay, it is a compact structure. You write this statement down. It is a compact structure. Compact structure with Vimana, Gopura, Shikara, Mandapa. Okay, all these things I'll explain later. Vimana, Gopura, Shikara, and Mandapas. All standard features of the Dravidian style are present in this temple. All standard features of Dravidian style are present in this temple, and there is also a Kirit Stamba. Okay, Kirit Stamba. Not Kirit. Kirti Stamba. I'm sorry. Kirti Stamba is also there. Kirti Stamba. Okay, I'll talk about these features too later. Okay, so this is an important example of the final culmination of rock cut architecture. And Aihole, Badami, and Patattakal. Okay, most of the caves in this region, okay, they have some unique features. Okay, this can be asked as an independent question, maybe, or they can ask a prelims bit on this. So that's the reason why I have dealt with them a little exhaustively here. So when it comes to most of the caves in Aihole, Badami, and Patattakal, they are flat roofed caves. Okay, flat roofed. They don't have this barrel vaulting structure. Most of them are flat roofed in their structure. Along with that, on the flat roof, what they did is they started ornamenting the roof. This is one unique feature. Ceiling decoration, it is called. Ornamenting the roof. Okay, now we do POP, right? Okay, in homes, similarly, they also started ornamenting the ceiling. So this is one place, okay, this became an inspiration for later development of Vesara architecture too. Okay, Vesara architecture, it is an outcome of these experiments that have been done in the caves. And they also have this feature called Dwarapalas at entrance. Okay, Dwarapalas, you can see it here. Okay, the Dwarapalas at entrance are also present. Dwarapalas at entrance and ornamentation of ceiling. And the interior of the caves, they have been, okay, they are very well sculpted. There are n number of sculptures which are present inside the wall. The best examples of which are, okay, one is in Ravanpadi cave. Already I talked about the image of Ravana moving Mount Kailash. Another one is the image of Mahisasura Mardini. The third one is Harihara image. Fourth one is Ardhanadishwara. And fifth one is this Dwarapala images. So decoration of the interior, it is done with the help of these images. Mahisasura Mardini. Yes. Okay, Thousand Pillar Temple is not rock cut architecture. It is a freestanding temple. Okay, I'll talk about it. Warangalka, he's talking about the Thousand Pillar Temple. Recently this year, I think you know about it, right? Ramappa Temple has been made a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, so we'll talk about the architectural features of that too. And Kakatiya architecture too, we are going to discuss. Okay, there will be many more, sir, in future. Okay, UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Because India has, okay, a lot of good temples, architecturally brilliant temples, many are there. Okay, slowly others will also be included. Year on year, more number of sites will be included as part of this. Okay, even Halibut Belur will get the status very soon. Okay, they have applied, but it will take some time. Okay, already Hampi is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, so similarly, many others are there. Long back, some 2 years back, in the first lockdown, okay, I've done one series on all the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Okay, in YouTube it is there. Okay, if you want to, you can watch it. If you are interested in art, if you're interested in art, you can do that. Otherwise, the classroom is sufficient for examination perspective. Okay, but if you have this special interest, then you can watch the series. Okay, all 39 sites were there at that point of time. Every site I have discussed. What is the significance of each site and stuff. So it is very good series. If you have time, you can watch it. Okay, there I have discussed thoroughly about each site. Okay, more exhaustively. And so this is Aiholi, Badami and Patakal. These are the caves. And the next one is, this is Pallava Mandapa. Okay, Pallava cave temples are known as Mandapas. This term is very important. Mandapas are nothing but Pallava cave temples are called as Mandapas. Mandapas are Pallava cave temples are known as Mandapas. Okay, and here these Mandapas also have the same features like Aihole, Badami and Patakal. Almost similar features. Okay, because they are contemporaries, so they have constructed the cave temples also in a similar fashion. They also have Dwarapalas, pillared porticos, everything is common except for ceiling ornamentation. There is no ceiling ornamentation here. Okay, rest of the features are exactly the same. Okay, now the next cave, okay, this finishes the cave architecture. Sittana Vasal I'll talk about in paintings. Okay, so rest of the things are done. So the standard features are all common. Okay, only examples you have to remember. What are they called in different places? What is the significance of each one? Okay, so locational history is not important. In art, theme history is more important. Feature history is more important rather than locational history. Okay, each site may, okay, we are not tourist guides, right? So we will not be able to study each and every site fully. Okay, what we will do is we'll talk about the features broadly of all and specific features which are prominent, which can be asked as questions in each site I'm going to cover. So this finishes the cave architecture. Now next feature that we are going to talk about in architecture is the stupa architecture. Stupa architecture, if you remember, I talked about, okay, in Vedic period and the pre-Mauryan period also, there was this feature called mound, smashana. Okay, the dead body of an individual after it gets buried, there was a mound which was created on the dead body. And this mound, it became an inspiration for later day development of stupa architecture. Later day development of stupa architecture, it occurred because of this mound structure first. And here also we'll do the same thing. First we will understand architecturally what a stupa means. Then after that we'll move to the specific features of each place, what kind of stupas have been erected. Okay, the first part is we have to discuss about the technicalities of a stupa, that is the features of a stupa. Okay, so stupa is a mound on mortal remains of some person. Okay, mound on mortal remains of some person. Now, this stupa, it has some features. It has some features. First is known as anda. First is known as anda, and this is anda. The semi-spherical, okay, the semi-spherical building which is present is known as anda. And anda, okay, you have to know this feature that anda is solid but not hollow. You will not be able to enter this anda at any point of time. There is no entry point into it. Okay, it is a grave. Okay, there is no entry point into it. It is completely closed and it is solid structure. And usually this is built with the help of bricks. Okay, anda is built with the help of bricks. On the exterior, you have burnt bricks. In the interior, you have sun-dried bricks. Okay, this is important. Exterior may we have burnt bricks. Interior may we have sun-dried bricks. And at the center of this anda, okay, there will be a casket. Okay, casket will be there. It's not given there. You write it down. At the center, there will be a casket. And this casket, okay, it contains, okay, either the mortal remains of Buddha, because Ashoka has distributed them across India. The mortal remains of Buddha are present, or okay, or sometimes the mortal remains of a Buddhist monk, okay, who is, let's suppose, a famous Buddhist monk, he dies. Okay, around the mortal remains of this Buddhist monk also, sometimes, okay, this kind of things were constructed. Okay, these kind of things were constructed. So this is the standard feature. Casket will be there. Either Buddha's remains or remains of one or the other Buddhist monk are placed in this casket. Casket is a small box. A small box. So around it, okay, first sun-dried bricks they will place, and over it, okay, the burnt bricks they will place, and they will construct it as a solid structure. A solid structure. This is, in fact, a representation of a bubble. A half bubble structure. This is called. Okay, half bubble structure. It is a representation of a bubble. Okay, then apart from this, most of the standardized stupas, what they have is they are constructed on a raised platform. A raised platform, okay, which is cylindrical in its shape, which is known as Medhi. Medhi is the raised platform. Okay, Medhi is the raised platform, and okay, Medhi is the raised platform. And on this raised platform, usually in order to access this, there are steps. You see these steps? These steps are known as sopana. Sopana are the steps through which you will access Medhi. You will access Medhi. Medhi, sopana. Okay, two terms I have explained. Medhi and sopana. And most of the stupas, what they have is, they have this, okay, railings which are known as Vedikas, compound wall. Okay, two levels Vedikas are present. One is present on the Medhi, one is present on the outside. Okay, one is present on the outside. These are known as railings or Vedikas, they are called. Railing. Compound wall, sir. Okay, house has a compound. Similarly, Stupa also has a compound which is called as Vedika. And this Vedika typically has two features. Okay, one is the vertical pillars and the second one is the horizontal pillars, right? Okay, the vertical pillars are known as Stamba, whereas the horizontal pillars are known as Ushnisha. What is it called? Just a second. Yes. Ushnisha. Oh, sorry. Suchi. Okay, Ushnisha, Suchi. I'm sorry, not Stamba. Okay, the vertical pillars are known as Suchi. Okay, you draw these diagrams. Horizontal pillars are known as, draw these diagrams, or otherwise you designated them there itself, are known as Ushnisha. Vertical is Ushnisha. Vertical is not Ushnisha. Is it given there? Okay, vertical cannot be Ushnisha because Ushnisha means the top. Ushnisha means always the head. Ushnisha always means the head. See, wait a second. Okay, I'll clarify it. Okay, just a second. Okay, this is. Okay, this way it looks. Wait a second. Tell you. Okay, what is what? Okay, usually the railings they look this way. This top bracket is known as, top pillar is known as Ushnisha. The vertical pillar is known as Stamba. I'm right. Okay, the vertical pillar is known as Stamba, whereas the horizontal pillars which are not Ushnisha are known as Suchi. Okay, these are the three names. Okay, three names are there. Sorry. Okay, Stamba, Ushnisha, and Suchi. And okay, usually at the place of interaction where this Stamba and Ushnisha, Stamba and Suchi, where they interact, okay, that is this region, usually they place, okay, bas relief medallions. You write this term down. Bas relief medallions. I'll talk about them again in sculpture, but they're important. Bas relief medallions are present at the intersection of Stamba, Ushnisha, and Suchi. bas relief medallions are present. Bas relief medallions, and okay, the place between Medi and Vedika is known as Pradakshina Path. Okay, Medi, and there are two Pradakshina Paths. Usually on ground floor is one, on top floor is the second one. Two Pradakshina Paths are there. Pradakshina Path is the place where people take this Pradakshinas. Okay, Pradakshina Path. Pradakshina Path at two levels, Pradakshina Path will be there. And okay, most of the stupas, okay, these Vedikas, they are punctured at four places, or they have entrances at four places, and in these four places they construct these things called Toranas. Toranas. Okay, Torana. Torana, this is called Torana. Toranas are very important. Toranas are the gateways. Toranas are gateways. Okay, the subparts of a Torana I will discuss later in sculpture. Toranas are entrance gateways. Entrance gateways. Now, okay, it contains a lot of sculpture. Okay, very well carved they are. Well carved they are. Then apart from that, on top we have three parts. One is known as Harmike. The second is known as Danda, Dande, and the last one is known as Chitri. Okay, Harmike is the platform which has been constructed. This rectangular platform which is constructed on top of Anda is known as Harmika. And in Harmika, okay, usually they erect these kind of vertical small pillars which are known as Dande. And apart from Dande, sometimes they decorate these Dandes with on top Chitri. Okay, on top Chitri. Chitri means umbrella. So key features are Harmike, Chitri, and Dande. Harmike, Chitri, and Dande. Okay, Chitri is a symbol of royalty. Okay, Chitri is a symbol of royalty. So here it is a representative of, okay, the person who is residing here, he belongs to a royal family. He belongs to a royal family because Buddha also belongs to a royal family. So it is an indication of royalty of Buddha. Okay, this is very important. Chhatri, Dande, Harmika, okay, Anda, then Medi, Sopana, Pradakshina Path, okay, Vedika, and Torana. These are the important sub parts of stupa. But here also the same case applies. So this is the standardized stupa. Every stupa will not have the same features. Okay, every stupa will not have the same features. And this stupa that I have shown, it is mainly inspired from the Sanchi Stupa. Sanchi Stupa, and in some places there are some unique aspects to these stupas. Okay, I'll talk them then and there itself. So these are the standardized stupas, and these are the various features. And when it comes to stupas, they are categorized into three parts. One is known as Dhatugarbha, second one is known as Paribhajaka, and the third one is known as Uddesika. When it comes to Dhatugarbha, Dhatugarbha contains relics of Buddha, whereas Paribhajaka, it contains the relic of a Buddhist monk. Paribhajaka have the relic of a Buddhist monk. And the last one is Uddesika. Uddesika is constructed by a Buddhist lay follower. Buddhist lay follower, when his desire gets fulfilled. When his desire gets fulfilled. See, such great people Indians are. Yes. Okay, Buddha always talked about what? If you have desire, first try to blow out of your desire. But what they did is they converted Buddha into a god, and they went to Buddha and they said that, sir, I have so and so thing. Okay, if this gets fulfilled, I'll construct a stupa for you. Okay, so in bribing, no one can beat Indians. Yes, okay, because we start with God first. Okay, our bribes will start with God. Then after that only, okay, we'll come to the society, and in society also we'll bribe everyone. That is the core of Indian character. Okay, so this is a bribe. Uddesika stupa is a bribe. Next one is this stupas of Ashoka. Okay, you just have a look at the names. Okay, nothing much is significant. All of them have more or less the same features. Okay, more or less the same features. And most of the stupas of Ashoka, they are in a depilated situation today. Okay, it means that they have been completely destroyed because they have not been constructed well. Okay, they were constructed mainly with the sun-dried bricks or mud in some places. So of the remaining stupas, these stupas are important. One is Sanchi Stupa 1. The second one is at Sarnath, he has constructed a stupa called Dharma Rajika Stupa. And Takshila also he constructed a stupa which is also known as Dharma Rajika Stupa. Okay, two places, same name. Dharmarajika is a stupa which has been constructed by Ashoka at Sarnath and Takshil. Okay, Sarnath and Takshil, and he also constructed a stupa at Sanchi. So this is one. Then during the post-Mauryan period, that too particularly during Sunga period, okay, you write this down, Sunga period, there is a stupa which has been constructed called Sanchi Stupa. Okay, the classical stupa that I have shown just now, okay, that has been constructed during the Sunga period. During the Sunga period, okay, and this stupa is elaborately decorated. The contributions for stupa came from the merchants and craftsmen. This is very important. In fact, okay, the toranas which have been constructed in this Sanchi Stupa, they were contributed by the ivory workers of Vidisha. You write it down. The toranas were donated by the ivory workers of Vidisha. It means that it's not just the kings who contributed to temple construction. You're getting it? Or stupa construction. Ivory workers of Vidisha. Okay, Vidisha is an important town, right? Where is it present? Vidisha. Yesterday we talked about it. Bihar. Okay, Vidisha is present in Bihar, and they contributed to the construction of this Sanchi Stupa. Sanchi Stupa, ivory workers. Okay, ivory workers, they made a lot of money in their trade, and what they did is they contributed something to the Buddhist stupa, and they were the ones who contributed to the construction of the toranas. About these toranas, we'll talk more about them later. Okay, what kind of sculpture is present on them? What does the sculpture signify? Okay, is it trying to tell any message to Indians? So these kind of things we'll talk about. And okay, yes. Yes. I'm sorry. Vidisha is in Madhya Pradesh. I'm sorry. Vaishali is in Bihar. Yes. Vidisha is in Madhya Pradesh. We'll talk later also about Vidisha. And next one is, okay, in post-Mauryan period itself, there is a stupa which has been constructed, which is called Amaravati Stupa. Okay, very, very popular. And this Amaravati Stupa, it has been constructed at a place called Dharanikota. It is also known as Dhanya Kataka or Dharanikota. Okay, and there are in Amaravati school of stupas itself, there is one more place where the stupas have been constructed, which is known as Nagarjunakonda. Okay, Nagarjunakonda, we already talked about the Konda, right? Okay, Acharya Nagarjuna Sri Parvati University, the same place. Okay, in Nagarjunakonda, there have been some stupas which have been constructed, and the stupas here were constructed by Shatavahanas and Ikshvakus. Ikshvaku. So two ruling dynasties, they constructed the stupas here. You want me to spell it out? Okay, Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku. Okay, Ikshvaku. So these are the stupas which are constructed, and the uniqueness about these Amaravati stupas is that the Amaravati stupas, in Amaravati stupas alone, the anda is decorated. In other places, anda is plain, but only in Amaravati stupa the anda is decorated. And here only in this place there is, okay, an extension to the stupa on four sides. I'll show the image. Okay, this is the Amaravati stupa. Okay, even though the exact stupa did not survive, but a replica has been constructed. The exact stupa, okay, most of the subparts of the stupa, they have been carried away to Great Britain, and they are present in the houses of various viceroys, okay, and British Museum. So they are present in the houses of these people. We don't have this stupa today, okay, because the Vedika and Toranas, they are very well ornamented. So what they did is they carried away whatever they can to Great Britain. So we don't have this stupa now. Okay, only the replica we have. The replica, it has this ornamented anda. Okay, then along with ornamented anda, they have a projection or extension on all four sides. All four sides, just before Torana, they have an extension which is known as Ayak platform. Okay, Ayak platform. is the extension of the stupa on four sides. Rectangular extension. Write this. Rectangular extension of stupa on four sides, which is known as Ayak platform. Ayak platform is the extension of stupa on all four sides. All four sides. Usually what they do is, okay, in front of the stupa, let's suppose this is the stupa. In front of the stupa, they have this rectangular kind of extension. This extension is provided on all four sides. And they will place pillars here called Ayak pillars. Ayak pillars and Ayak platforms. Ayak, okay, or Ayak is called A-Y-A-K. A-Y-A-K. Ayak platforms and Ayak pillars are the important features here. Okay, and the last one is the Kushanas. In the post-Mauryan period, they constructed a stupa at Takshila. Takshila stupa they have constructed. And this stupa is based on stone masonry. Okay, unlike the earlier stupas, the unique feature of this stupa is it is constructed with the help of stone masonry. Stone masonry means we have stones used in construction of this stupa. Stone masonry. Stone masonry is an important aspect of this stupa. And after post-Mauryan period, we have also development of stupas during later period. But here, okay, in the later developments, that is during Guptan period and post-Guptan period, stupas became structurally flexible. Okay, write this word down. Okay, during Gupta and post-Gupta period, post-Gupta period, the stupas became structurally flexible. So earlier stupas were only these domical structures. Okay, but by now what they did is they became structurally flexible, and at Sarnath they constructed a stupa which is cylindrical in shape. Okay, I'll show you the image of Sarnath stupa too. See this? Okay, this is the stupa which is present at Sarnath. It has become structurally flexible. It became cylindrical rather than spherical. Okay, so this is the important feature of Sarnath stupa, that it is cylindrical in shape. Cylindrical in shape. Then apart from that, the Nalanda stupa, it has been constructed in the form of a pyramid. Okay, Nalanda stupa, it has been constructed in the form of a pyramid. Okay, I think I have talked about this. Sadhavanas, Nagarjunakonda, another important place. Okay, some of the features I already discussed. Okay, so the next one is Nalanda. Comes to Nalanda. Nalanda is, I'll show you the image of Nalanda. Is Nalanda image given? Huge pyramidical stupa will be there. Not this one. It's supposed to be one more. This is the Nalanda Vihar. Nalanda Stupa. Nalanda Stupa is, okay, is constructed in the form of a pyramid. In the form of a pyramid. In the form of a pyramid. And we will talk briefly about the Nalanda Mahavihara because it is important for us. Nalanda Mahavihara and Stupa. Okay. Nalanda is called as a Mahavihara. And in this Mahavihara itself, we have a stupa. Okay, there are two stupas. One is the pyramidical stupa. The other one is known as Sariputra stupa. Pyramidical is one, big one. And there is a second one which is known as Sariputra stupa. Sariputra stupa. It's given here. Sariputra stupa. Okay, if you want the spelling, it's given there. It is called as Sariputra stupa. Here, this Mahavihara is very, very important, okay, because it has been constructed, or the foundation for Nalanda Mahavihara, it has been laid by Kumaragupta I. Okay, I think I have talked about it already. Kumaragupta I is the person who laid the foundation for the Nalanda Mahavihara, and it has been later developed by the Palas. Okay, Palas, they developed this further. Okay, Pala rulers, they developed this further. Okay, then when it comes to this Nalanda Mahavihara, it has pyramidical shape. And apart from that, there is one more which is known as the Sariputra Stupa. And the Sariputra Stupa, it looks this way. Okay, a oblong cylinder. So that is the stupa. Okay, that is the stupa. The image is given there, right? Okay, this one in center. Okay, it is known as Sariputra Stupa. It is known as Sariputra Stupa. And Okay, the main visitors of Nalanda Mahavihara are, one is Huansang and the second one is Itsing. You write the other person's name, only Huansang is given there. Itsing. 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 I-Tsing. Itsing. Itsing and Huansang, both of them visited Mahavihara and they talked a hell lot about the Nalanda Mahavihara. Okay. He is also from China. Itsing is also from China. He is the third important Chinese foreign traveler. Okay, one is Fahian, second is Huansang, and the third is this person. And Huansang, he gives an elaborate description of Nalanda Mahavihara, and he talks about the one famous library which was present in Nalanda Mahavihara, which is known as, okay, this Dharma Ganj. Dharma Ganj is the library, and there are three parts to Dharma Ganj. Okay, one is known as Ratnasagara, Ratnodani, and Ratnaranjaka. Three names are given. These are the three sub-parts of a broader library called Dharma Ganj. In UPSC examination, if they give one of these names, okay, you have to identify it as a library. Okay, one of these names, Ratnaranjika, Ratnodani, and Ratnasagara. Okay, all three of them are part of this big library called Dharma Ganja. Okay, and there are numerous cells which are constructed in this Nalanda. You write this down. Numerous single roomed cells are present in the Nalanda Mahavihara. Present in the Nalanda Mahavihara for the students. Single roomed cells for the students. And apart from that, the decoration is with the help of terracotta plaques. Decoration in Nalanda Mahavihara is done with the help of terracotta plaque. Okay, in Bengal and Eastern Bihar region, okay, you should always remember whenever the decoration comes, it is usually done with the help of terracotta plaques. Okay, what is the reason? Usually in other places, the decoration is done with the help of sculpture, right? Okay, the problem with Bengal and East Bihar region is, in most of these places, there is non-availability of stone because of the geographical conditions. Okay, so they are present at the mouth of the river. So in mouth of the river, you don't have big boulders. Because of unavailability of stone, what they did is they resorted to decorating with the help of these terracotta plaques. Terracotta plaques contain, okay, the terracotta sculptures. Terracotta plaque means it is nothing but like a pot. Okay, terracotta plaque is nothing but like a pot. Okay, so you have these terracotta images, right? I think in Karnataka also there is one place where they create these terracotta horses, very big size. Big size terracotta horses. No idea? Terracotta is a kind of sand. From clay it is made usually. Okay, so these terracotta images are very, very important, and they decorated the Nalanda Mahavihara with terracotta plaques. Okay, with terracotta plaques, what they do is they will make it with the help of pottery. Okay, then they will burn it and they will bring it independently and they will attach it to the walls of the vihara. Okay, no sculpture, but terracotta plaques are present here. So this is important. Terracotta plaque. Terracotta plaque kind of ornamentation. And finally, this Nalanda Mahavihara, it has been destroyed by a person by the name of Bakhtiyar Khilji. Okay, Bakhtiyar Khilji is the one who destroyed this. And he also burned down this vihara too. And here, all the three schools of Buddhism, secular subjects, all of them are taught here. The secular subjects, three schools of Buddhism and other religions are also taught in this Mahavihara. And the next one is the Mahabodhi Temple. Mahabodhi Temple is very, very important one. It is present in Bodh Gaya. It is present in Bodh Gaya. Okay, Bodh Gaya is the other name of. Okay, Bodh Gaya is the other name of. Are you sure that it is Sanchi? Or is it Sarnath? Okay, I think it is Sarnath. I told Sarnath, right? It's Sarnath. Okay, Sarnath's one more name is Bodh Gaya. Maybe if I have told something differently, okay, it is wrong. Sarnath's name, one more name of Sarnath is Bodh Gaya. Okay, one more name of. One second. Okay, let me check. I'm a little confused. I think it is Sarnath only. Please check it once. Okay, I think it is Sarnath. Just check it once. Bodh Gaya. have mobile phones. You should be telling me. Bodh Gaya has one more name is, I think it's Sarnath. Or Sanchi. Sarnath, right? Okay, searching is also slow. Okay, fine, whatever it might be. I'll clarify about this thing a little later, because there are okay, whatever it might be, I'll talk about it. Okay, so here in Bodh Gaya, there is a very famous temple called Mahabodhi Temple. Okay, Mahabodhi Temple is the most famous temple here, Mahabodhi. Okay, Mahabodhi Temple. And this has been first constructed by Ashoka. And along with that, okay, the foundation of the temple was laid by Ashoka. Along with this, he also established a Vedika. And this Vedika was an upraised platform in Bodh Gaya. Upraised platform in Bodh Gaya. So I think all three are different. Sanchi, Sarnath and Bodh Gaya are different. Okay, Bodh Gaya is the place where Buddha attained enlightenment. Sanchi is the place where he used to conduct his sessions. Sarnath is the first sermon. Okay, so Bodh Gaya is the place where he got enlightenment. I think they are all three different. Got a little confused. Okay, so Vedika is added by Ashoka, first shrine by Ashoka, and he also constructed a Vedika. Okay, and later day, this Mahabodhi temple was further developed during post-Mauryan period and Pala period too. There were many additions which were made to this temple, and this temple in its final form all these three temples, this temple, it has been constructed with the help of brick. Okay, brick temple, and it is neither a Dravida temple nor a Nagara temple. Okay, Nagara and Dravida, I'll talk about the features, but just see this. Okay, this is having a pyramidical shape, perfect pyramidical shape. Okay, is present for this temple. This is known as the famous Mahabodhi Temple. You see the image of this temple, and this is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is neither Dravida nor Nagara. Okay, it is neither Dravida nor Nagara. It is narrow like Nagara temple, but rises without curving like Dravida, and it is known as stepped truncated pyramidal shape. Stepped truncated pyramidal shape. Okay, truncating means what? Okay, if you have the bottom broadly and the top narrowly, then it is known as truncated. Okay, truncated shape this way. Okay, it has a truncated shape. Okay, and when it comes to this first line, I'll explain it later. Okay, I'll explain it later. When I'm talking about Nagara and Dravida, I'll talk about it. Okay, and on top, we have a small hemispherical stupa. It is not visible in the image, but we have a small hemispherical stupa on top here. Okay, small hemispherical stupa on top. We have small hemispherical stupa on top, and okay, it's constructed with brick. And this stupa, this pyramidical shikara, it contains numerous niches. Okay, this term is important. Niche. Okay, niche, arch and motifs. Okay, arch and motifs. Niche is, okay, let's see this image. I'll show you a niche. Okay, niche is, okay, this is the niche. This is the niche. Okay, niche is this. Niche is, particularly niche is any place where a sculpture is placed, is known as niche. Niche is a specific place where a sculpture is placed is known as niche. So this is how niche are constructed. Okay, I think in ecology also you might have, okay, environmental niche, okay, where a specific species is present. Yes, where has been asked in UPSC question too. So in architecture also we have this feature called niche. Niche is a specific place where a sculpture is placed. Where a sculpture is placed. So this is known as a niche. Okay, niche. Then apart from that, okay, this Bodh Gaya temple, it has 4 towers on, okay, 4 towers on the 4 corners of this temple. Okay, these towers, you see, they are replicas of the central tower. They are replicas of the central tower. Okay, this is a unique feature. It's present nowhere in India except here. Okay, 4 towers, each identical to its central counterpart, but smaller in size and topped with an umbrella-like dome adorn the corners of the 2-story structure. Okay, see this? 4 sides, 4 will be there. 4 sides, 4 will be there. And okay, this is the important part of the Mahabodhi Temple. Okay, and it is constructed, okay, in order to commemorate where Buddha has attained his enlightenment. Okay, it is very close to this temple. Buddha has attained enlightenment, and the place where Buddha has attained enlightenment, there this Vedika has been constructed. Vedika has been constructed, and this Vedika, it has a fine Mauryan finish. Write this down. It has fine Mauryan finish and foliate design. Fine Mauryan finish and foliate design it has. Foliate design. Fine Mauryan finish and foliate design it has. This is the story of Mahabodhi Temple. Okay, just remember that it has a stepped truncated shape. Stepped truncated shape. It is neither Dravida nor Nagara. It is a brick one, and it has numerous niches and motifs which are decorate the outside wall of the temple. Okay, then along with that, you have this small 4 towers which surround the central. Okay, the central pyramidal structure. There are 4 smaller towers which surround it. Okay, this is the story of the Mahabodhi Temple. And next we'll see. I think next to the rest of the things I have discussed already. Sarnath Stupa, nothing much of importance. Now we'll move to the next topic, that is temples. This finishes stupas. Okay, but okay. After sculpture, I'll discuss. Okay, after sculpture, I forgot about it. Okay, after sculpture, I'll talk about this thing. In fact, there was a question at one point of time saying that the stupa architecture in India is inspired from folk traditions. Okay, stupa architecture is inspired from folk traditions was a question which has been asked in UPSC. So we'll talk about this question a little later. Okay, a little later we'll talk about this question. Okay, not now. Now, okay, when it comes to the next concept is around this concept, this idea of temples. Okay, temple structures is the next one. When it comes to the temple structure, a temple is a Hindu house of God. Hindu house of God, it is a place of worship, it is a place of pilgrimage. Yesterday we talked about it. Place of worship and place of pilgrimage. And when it comes to temples, the early temples in India, most of them, okay, the temple building style in India, it started during post-Mauryan period. You write this down. It started during the post-Mauryan period. And most of the initial temples, they were constructed in perishable materials. Perishable materials, and most of them are wood structures. Wood structures, and they have been constructed in order to replicate a hermitage. Okay, I have given it here is a reflection of the hermitage of rishis. Hermitage is kutir. Okay, rishis have their own kutirs, right? So it was constructed in order to replicate these kutirs. Okay, and here when it comes to this temple, okay, when it comes to this early temples of India, okay, in the early temples, most of the temples had this plan which is known as apsidal plan. Okay, apsidal. You can draw the plan too. Apsidal is half elliptical plan, and most of them have either a flat roof or a vaulted roof. Vaulted roof, you know, right? Okay, just like a hut, a flat or vaulted roof they had. And around the temple, we had a open circumambulatory path. Open circumambulatory path, not covered, but open. Open circumambulatory path was there. Okay, along with that, they are surrounded by Vedika, similar to the stupa. Okay, it is not given there, you write it down. They are surrounded by Vedika, and they have also ornamented entrance gateways, which are known as Toranas. Vedika, Torana, wood structures, Okay, wood is also not given. You write it down. Wood structures. Okay, this is how most of the early temples used to be during the post-modern period. During the post-modern period, this is the formative phase for temple construction in India. Formative phase for temple construction in India. And the early temples are present at 3 places. One is known as Bairat in Rajasthan. Second is Sanchi, and the third one is Vidisha. Third one is Vidisha. Vidisha, Madhya Pradesh. Bairat in Rajasthan, and Sanchi also in Madhya Pradesh. Sanchi in Madhya Pradesh. Okay. In sculpture, I'll talk about the Vidisha temple. It is very prominent. But rest of the temples, we only have the remains of the platforms on which the temples have been constructed. We only have the remains of platforms on which the temples were constructed. Okay, raised platforms on which the temples were constructed. We only have the images of that. We don't have the temples exactly. Okay, and of these temples, okay, there is one temple in that section only. Early temples may he liko, which is known as a Hypothermial Temple. Okay, you write here only. Even though it is given below, you write about this Hypothermial Temple. Hypothermial Temple, which is the only temple present in India, which is a open air temple. Open air temple means it doesn't have a ceiling. It doesn't have a ceiling. Open air temple. It is a temple which is constructed at a place called Gudimallam. Gudimallam. It is present in Andhra Pradesh. Gudimallam in Andhra Pradesh, and it is the only example of an open air temple. There is no ceiling to this temple. In Andhra Pradesh it is present, and it is known as a temple for Mukhalingam. Okay, Mukhalingam Temple. Mukhalingam is a format of Shiva. Okay, so this is also unique because Lingam is a symbolic representation of Shiva, right? But on this Lingam, okay, in some temples at least, there was an image of Shiva in human form which has been carved on this. This is known as Mukhalingam. Mukhalingam is, okay, image of Shiva carved onto Linga. Image of Shiva carved onto Linga is known as Mukhalingam. Is known as Mukhalingam. Okay, and after that, slowly from these kind of wooden structures, okay, there were cave temples which are constructed. Already we discussed about the cave temples. Cave temples which are constructed. And after cave temples, we had rock cut temples. Rock cut temples which are carved onto rock. Okay, we have seen the Kalasana Temple. Okay, then after that, we had the temple format which is known as freestanding temples. Freestanding temples. Freestanding temples means, okay, write this down. Freestanding temples are constructed with the help of stone or clay bricks. Stone or clay bricks. Stone or clay bricks. Whereas rock cut temples are carved out of rock. Are carved out of rock. Carved out of rock. You can give the example of, okay, rock cut caves, temples ke liye, you can give the example of, which one? Kalasana Temple. Okay, Kalasana Temple you can give the example of, and cave temples ke liye, you can give the example of the Mandapas of Pallavas. Okay, Mandapas of Pallavas, you can give an example of cave temples. Now, when it comes to the schools, the various schools which are present, one is Nagara, the second is Dravida, and the third one is Vesara school. Okay, I'll talk about these features too, and the examples for each school also we are going to discuss. Okay, just I'm going to show the images of how these temples look like. Okay, so this is Nagara temple, this is Dravida, and this is the Vesara temple. Okay, the main difference between these temples is, okay, the superstructure over Garbhagriha. Okay, write this down. The superstructure over Garbhagriha, or Garbhagriha, the superstructure which is constructed, it is different for different temples. Okay, it is different for different temples. Okay, take the case of a Nagara temple. So Nagara temple, it usually has, okay, this is known as the Shikara. Okay, you might have seen any Sai Baba temple. Okay, Shirdi Sai Baba. Okay, his temples are constructed across the country. Okay, in the places where you see this Shirdi Sai Baba temple, the shape of this temple is usually this shape, which is known as Nagara format. Okay, it is in the form of a beehive. Okay, beehive means, okay, you know the bees, they have a hive, right, from where honey is extracted. So this shape is known as beehive shape. Okay, it is curvilinear in its format. Okay, it looks this way. Okay, curvilinear in its format. Okay, I'll draw the image also this way. Okay, usually it looks this way. Okay, then it is known as, okay, this is very lateral. Okay, it looks this way. In fact, in a curved format, it looks this way. Okay, in a curved format, it looks this way. So this is known as the beehive format of a temple. Beehive format of temple. Okay, beehive format of temple, and it has been constructed. So this is a shikara in Nagara style. This is the most unique feature. When it comes to Dravida style, okay, Dravida style has this pyramidical format. Okay, pyramidical format. Okay, this way the temple looks. This way the temple looks. Okay, you might have seen most of the temples of South India, they have the same structure. Whereas this Vesara style, it is very unique. Okay, it is very unique. What it does is it has the pyramidical format but with curved sides. Pyramidical format with curved sides is known as the Vesara style. This is a hybrid form. Pyramidical style with curved sides is known as, this is a style which is known as Vesara style. Vesara style. So I'll talk about the specific features of each two. Okay. Now, first we'll start with the Nagara style. Nagara style. And in Nagara style, I told you that this is curvilinear and this is known as Shikara. Whereas in Dravida style, it is pyramidical and it is known as Vimana. Okay, it is known as Vimana. And here, see the term Shikara in the Dravidian style, it is given to the capstone. Okay, for this pyramidical structure, there will be an octagonal capstone. The octagonal capstone in a Dravida style is known as Shikara. You getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, same name at two places, different meaning. In North India, Shikara means, okay, this beehive structure is known as Shikara in North India. Whereas in South, Shikara means the capstone which is placed on the top of Vimana is known as Shikara. Okay, so this is an octagonal capstone. Octagonal capstone, it is called octagonal capstone. It has the shape of an octagon. I'll show you the images too later. Now, you see, first and foremost, all the temples in India, they have this shape or structure called trebuchet structure. First, we'll talk about the basics. What is the trebuchet structure? We'll see. And after trebuchet structure, we'll go to the early temples under Nagara and later temples under Nagara we'll go to. So first, when it comes to this trebuchet feature, trebuchet is a construction style which uses beam and pillar. Beams and pillar based construction is known as a trebuchet construction style. Okay, the room that you are sitting in, it is also based on the beam pillar concept. Okay, pillars are there and beams are there on top. So beam pillar concept based construction is known as trebuchet construction. Trebuchet construction, and usually in trebuchet construction there will be beams, there will be pillars. Okay, if you go to any Hindu temple, the most identifiable factor is it contains numerous pillars. Yes or no? So this is known as the beam and pillar technique. Along with that, okay, usually it has some techniques which are used in the construction of the trebuchet feature is it has a lintel. Okay, what is a lintel? Opening about door or window is known as lintel. Okay, not opening, but the structure which is present, the horizontal structure which is present on the door, okay, is known as lintel. Okay, if you see that, okay, if you see this part is known as lintel. Okay, this top is there, right? Okay, that is known as lintel. That is known as lintel, and lintel is the horizontal bar over the door or window. Door or window pe, if there is a horizontal bar which is placed, then it is known as lintel. You write this down. Horizontal bar over door or window is known as lintel. Okay, beam is, okay. Then corbelling is the technique which is used. I already talked about corbelling, if you remember. Okay, where stones are placed one over the other this way in order to construct a structure, then it is known as corbelling technique. So this way, this technique is known as corbelling technique, and it is used to construct towers. Okay, usually most of the temples in trebuchet feature, they have towers, right? I've shown you. Okay, either it will be a beehive structure or it will be a pyramidical structure. Beehive or pyramidical structure. And in some cases, we also resort to construction of temples with vaulted roof. Vaulted roof is shala. Yesterday we have seen shala or vaulted roof. Yes, okay. The horseshoe shaped roof is known as shala or vaulted roof. And the base plan of most temples. Okay, either it will be circular, it will be rectangular, it is square shaped, okay, base plan. Sometimes it is in the format of an upsidal format. Sometimes it is in the form of stellate. Stellate means star format. Stellate means star format, ground plan, stellate format, and there is one more form which is known as cruciform plan. Cruciform. Okay, cruciform shape is what? Okay, this is cruciform shape. I'm drawing it for you. This form is called cruciform. Okay, my drawing is very poor. Okay, my drawing is very poor, but I think you understood the structure, right? Cruciform. It will have 4 projections on 4 sides of a rectangle, then it is known as cruciform. Okay, cruciform. It looks like a cross. That's the reason why it is known as cruciform plan. Okay, it looks like a cross. That's the reason why it is known as cruciform plan. And cruciform plan is unique to Nagara style. In Nagara style, most of the constructions are made in cruciform plan. And stellate is unique to Vesara. Stellate is unique to Vesara, whereas the rest of the styles, okay, particularly the rectangular style, rectangular and square style are unique to Dravida. Dravida mein we see mostly the temples constructed in rectangular or square based format. Okay, these are the important ideas. And next, if you see, when it comes to the Nagara features, the features of a Nagara temple, okay, what kind of features are there? We'll see. So I talked about the beehive-shaped tower, okay, which is known as Shikara. Shikara is the beehive-shaped tower, and it is constructed on a cruciform base. I already talked about cruciform base. Yes. Then most of the Nagara temples, they are constructed in this style, which is known as Panchayatan style. Panchayatan style is the style which is used. Panchayatan means it contains 5 shrines. It contains 5 shrines. Then it is known as, if your structure has 5 shrines, then it is known as Panchayatan style. Okay, Panchayatan style. Then, apart from that, okay, it has a Pradakshina path. You understand it, right? Okay, so Pradakshina path is, in English, it is known as circumambulatory path. Circumambulatory path. Circumambulatory. AM. Okay. Circumambulatory path. Okay, circumambulatory path is known as, yes, Pradakshina path. Okay, Pradakshina path is known as circumambulatory path. And along with that, okay, in Nagara temple, we have the assembly halls, which are also known as mandapas. Assembly halls, which are known as mandapas. And in some places in the early temples, okay, we have pillared porticos too. Pillared porticos we have already seen. The same kind of pillared porticos are present here too. And along with that, every temple has a garbhagriha. And in Nagara style, the most unique feature is, in Nagara style, most of the garbhagrihas, they have the images of Ganga and Yamuna goddess on the outside. In place where we in South India place Dwarapalas, they have the images of Ganga and Yamuna. They have the images of Ganga and Yamuna, okay, either on doors or on the sides of the main entrance. Okay, it is an indication of like a person who is going inside, he is getting purified. Okay, so that is the reason why they have placed the images of Ganga and Yamuna there. Ganga and Yamuna outside the Garbhagriha. Okay, and show this rathas later. Okay, when it comes to the features, okay, some more features I have added. This is just extension of the same features. Okay, Nagara features only, extension. Okay, the other features of Nagara style. One is, we have the beehive-shaped shikara. Then after that, cruciform plan is there. Then Pradakshina path is there. Then mandapas are there. Pillared porticos are there. Okay, so these are some of the features, but more features are added here. This feature is known as antrala. Okay, antrala, or it is known as vestibule. Okay, whenever you go to temple, it is present in both North and South Indian temples. Okay, first you enter a mandapa. Then after that, okay, you will go towards the Garbhagriha, right? Okay, so in queue lines, there will be a narrow passage towards the Garbhagriha. Yes or no? A narrow passage will be there through which you will pass. Okay, and we are not permitted to enter into the Garbhagriha. most of the pilgrims, they turn around in the Antrala itself, okay, which is known as a narrow passage, and this narrow passage is known as vestibule. Okay, and it is the connection between Garbhagriha and Mandapa. This is very important. Connection between Garbhagriha and Mandapa is known as Antrala or vestibule. Antrala or vestibule it is called. Okay, and usually the Antrala or vestibule, it has this horseshoe shaped passage. Okay, shala or this format it has. Okay, vestibule. Okay, it has this ceiling. Okay, whenever you go to a temple, you see this feature. Okay, you see this feature. Don't go to any modern temple, but ancient temples, if you go to, there you see this structure, which is a connection between the Garbhagriha and the Mandapa. And this structure, it will have a horseshoe shaped top, and it will have a narrow passage. And through this narrow passage only, you will be able to enter into the main Garbhagriha. And it is the place where, from there, the pilgrims have a look at the god, the central deity. This is known as vestibule or Antralaya. Then, along with that, okay, to top the Shikara, okay, let's suppose this is the Shikara. Okay, this shape is perfect for Shikara. And on top of it, we have two structures. One is known as Amalak and the second is known as Kalash. Okay, Kalas and Amalak. Amalak is the capstone. Okay, write this down. Explanations you write. Amalak is the capstone, whereas Kalash is filial. Okay, Kalash is the filial. Kalash is filial. Okay. Usually, what do they place in a Kalash? The 5 metals usually they place. Okay, in the Kalash, 5 metals. Okay, 5 metals. Say what's one or the other object. Sometimes it might be a small tumbler. Okay, sometimes it might take any shape, but it is known as the filial. Okay, filial is the vertical projection. Okay, on top, vertical projection on top is known as filial. It is called as Kalash. This is Kalash. This is Amalak, and this is Shikara. Is known as Shikara. And okay, there is one more term. Okay, it is given a little wrongly there. You correct it. Okay, Rathas is the next term which you need to know. Rathas are projections on the base plan. You write this down. Rathas are projections on the base plan. Projections on the base plan. See, have a look at this base plan. Okay, this is the base plan, let's suppose. Okay, on each side there are 1, 2, 3 projections. Okay, the projection that I have shown, cruciform plan this is. Yes, but this has 3 projections on each side. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. This is known as a Triratna. This is known as Triratna. And if there are 5 projections on each side, then it is known as Pancharatna. Pancharatha, not Ratna. Pancharatha, Triratha. And if it has 7 projections, then it is known as Saptaratha. Then it is known as Saptaratha. Saptaratha. And if there are n number of projections, it means that more than 7 if there are, then it becomes a stellate plan. Will it not become like a star? Okay, more number of sides if it becomes, okay, it will become like a star, right? Okay, so if it becomes more than 7, then it is known as stellate plan. That is what has been employed in Vesra style. Whereas in Nagara style, okay, there are either Triratha, Pancharatha or Saptaratha temples. Okay, based on the base plan, they are classified. They are classified. Okay, and this is a little confusing because the same word Ratha is used only in Odisha architecture. It is used for the vertical, the parts of Shikara are called Ratha. Okay, I'll talk about it later. Okay, just remember that Ratha has one more meaning too, but I'll talk about it later. But here, according to this, Rathas are the projections on the base plan. And usually most of the temples are constructed on an upraised platform. Upraised platform, you construct the temple, and there will be a connector between the Garbhagriha and, let's suppose this is the Garbhagriha and this is the Shikara. There will be a drum which will be connecting the Shikara and Garbhagriha, which is known as Janga. Okay, drum, it is this way. Okay, circular thing will be there, okay, which is known as Janga. I'll show the image, then you'll get better clarity. Janga. And the curvilinear part, okay, this part is there, right? This part on a temple is known as Chapra. The curvilinear part is known as Chapra. It means that this entire structure is called Shikara, but only the curving part is called as Chapra. Okay, only the curving part is known as chapra, and along with that we have vertical projections here on the temple walls, which are known as Vrishringas. Okay, vertical projections will be there, which are known as Vrishringas. I'll show the images of these things. Okay, this is Shikara. Yes. Okay, this curvilinear part is known as chapra. This is known as Amalak. This is known as Kalash. You're getting this? Okay, so these temples are usually constructed on an upraised platform. Temples are usually constructed on an upraised platform, and this connector between, okay, this thing is there, right? Okay, this is known as Janga. This is known as Janga, and these are the different parts of the temple. Okay, features of the temple. Okay, I'll just discuss about them once more. Okay, just remember them. These are important. You can ask an independent mains question also on the Nagara School of Architecture. Okay, or prelims question is quite possible always. So first is they have beehive shaped shikara. Second one is they have this connector which is known as antrala. Third one is, what is the third feature? Cruciform plan, pradakshina path. Okay, pillared portico or mandapa is present. Okay, then apart from that, chapra is there, janga is there, amalak is there, kalash is there. Okay, some 10 features I have discussed minimum. Okay, then along with that we have rathas that are projections on the base plan. So nearly some 10-11 features we have talked about when it comes to Nagara architecture. And when it comes to the shikaras are of three kinds. This is also important. One shikara is known as the Latina shikara or Rekha Prasada, it is called. Okay, shikaras are also of three kinds. One is Latina or Rekha Prasada. The second is Pamasana, and the third one is Vallabhi. Three kinds of shikaras are there. I'll show the images too. Okay, just have a look at the images. So the shikara that we talked about till now, that is beehive shaped shikara, it is known as Rekha Prasad shikara or Latina shikara. Okay, you see this? Square at the base and walls curve inward to a point on the top. Okay, so, niche square shape hai, but upar jate waqt, okay, it gets curved and it becomes, they join at a single point, then it is known as Rekha Prasad or Latina shikara. The second one is this Pamasana shikara, and the third one is this Vallabhi shikara. When it comes to the Pamasana shikara, okay, Pamasana shikara, it has a broader base. Okay, Pamasana shikara, it has a broader base when compared to this Latina shikara, and it has shorter in height than Latina and slope upwards on a straight line. I'll show the image, then you'll understand better. It is usually seen as a form of, this is the shape. Okay, this is the shape of a Pamasana shikara. It is broad at base. Okay, and it also has curvilinear sides. But these are, okay, very steep. Okay, these are very steep. And usually the Pamasana shikara, it usually is constructed on the top of mandapas. Mandapa ke upar, usually they construct this Pamasana shikara. Pamasana shikara is constructed on top of mandapas. On top of mandapas, usually this is constructed, which is called as Pamasana shikara. Broader base, shorter in height than Latina, slope upwards on a straight line. Then it is known as Pamasana style. And the last one is Vallabhi. Vallabhi has the same old vaulted roof style. Okay, see this? This is having a vaulted roof, horseshoe shaped inside. Are you getting this? Vaulted roof. Okay, you write it down there itself near Vallabhi, the image. This is how vaulted roof looks like. Vaulted roofs look like. Vallabhi style, this is called. Vallabhi style of roof or vaulted roof it is called. Okay, rising into vaulted chambers, also called as wagon vault roof. Already we talked about this wagon vault roof. So these are the three different kinds of shikaras which are present. Latina, Pamasana and Vallabhi. These are the three different types of shikaras which are present. So now the features are done. Okay, three different kinds of shikaras plus the normal features we talked about. Now we are going to have a look at the evolution and the different schools of Nagara. Here we'll start with the early Gupta, and later we will go to later Gupta. Then we'll move to the sub schools or the regional schools, which are known as the eastern schools are present in Odisha, Chandela and Northeast school. Okay, Odisha, Chandela, Northeast school, and western school we have the Solanki school. And in the northern school, we are also going to discuss about the Kashmiri school of temple construction. The Kashmir school also we are going to discuss. So these are the various schools that we are going to talk about, and all of them have the same features. Okay, with minor variations here and there. What are these minor variations? How the temples look like? Okay, we are going to have a look at this. When it comes to Guptas, okay, the real beginning of temple construction, it started with the Guptas. Even though there are some temples during post-Mauryan period, but they are constructed with perishable materials, so they are lost for us. So the real temple construction, it started from Guptan period, and they mainly contain freestanding temples. All of the temples of Guptas are freestanding temples. It means that they have been constructed either with stone or mud brick. Stone or mud brick they are constructed with, so they are known as freestanding temples. Okay, here it is given for the first time permanent materials like brick and stone variables are used. And Guptan temples, okay, they evolved over a 5-stage development, but it is not important for us. Okay, 5 stages they have developed over a period of time in 5 stages. But you just remember that there are 2 stages in the development of Guptan temples. 2 stages only you remember. Rest of the things are not important for us. When it comes to these 2 stages, one is known as the early temples and the later one are known as later Guptan temples. When it comes to the early temples, they have a Garbhagriha, they have a Mandapa, they have a shallow porch. Okay, porch is the pillared portico. Okay, pillared portico is known as shallow porch. And they have pillars with bell-shaped capitals. Okay, I told you yesterday, every pillar has a base and a capital, right? Okay, the capital is decorated in the form of a bell. Okay, bell-shaped capital means they look this way. Okay, curved fashion, they look this way. This is the decoration at the top. You might have seen in many pillars. Okay, inverted bell structure it is called. Inverted bell structure, okay, it is a little more curved than what I have drawn. Okay, this way it looks. Okay, this way it looks, then it is known as bell capital on top. Okay, bell capital on top, and it has these bell-shaped capitals at top, and the walls are plain, they are not ornamented, and the plan is square plan, and the roof is also flat roof. Okay, I'll show the image to you, then you will understand it better. So this is the image of the early Guptan temples. Flat roof structures, pillared portico is there, mandapas are constructed, garbhagriha, and it has a square plan, and there is no ornamentation anywhere. Yes. Okay, so the capitals have this bell-shaped capital. See this? This is what is known as bell-shaped capital. Bell-shaped capital is this. Okay, there is a inverted lotus kind of shape. Inverted lotus kind of shape, which is known as bell-shaped capital. And these are the early Guptan temples. These are the early Guptan temples. I think you have understood. Garbhagriha, mandapa, shallow porch, pillars with bell-shaped capitals, plain walls, square plan, and flat roof. And the examples for this temple, it's not given there. You write this down. Examples are the temples at Sanchi, Baigram, Bhumra, and Sanchi, and Nachna Kuthar. Okay, Nachna Kuthar are the early temples. Sanchi, Baigram, Bhumra, and Nachna Kuthar. Nachna Kuthar are the early temples. Flat roof structures. Now, the next temples are known as the late Guptan temples, later stage of Guptan temples. And when it comes to the later stage of Guptan temples, see in the early stage there is no Pradakshina Path. Okay, all the features I already talked about. Now I am talking about how they are present. Pradakshina Path is present, and most of the temples have a second story. Ornamented walls are present. The doors are ornamented. There is a connection between the Garbhagriha and the outside Mandapa, which is known as vestibule. And the temples are constructed in a style which is known as Panchayatan Style. There is a tower which is present, which is known as Shikara, and the base plan is also cruciform plan. Are you following this? Later stage may cruciform plan, Shikara will be there, ornamented walls will be there, vestibule will be there, mandapas will be there. Okay, so all of these are the new features which got added to the Guptan temples in later stage of development. Okay, do you want me to show the previous slide? Did you write the things, examples? Okay, did you write? Now, the later stage temples, they have this plan. Okay, I'll show you the example of a temple. This is a very famous temple which is known as Dasavatara Temple. And this is the first temple which showed the classical Nagara Shikara. Okay, but unfortunately, we don't have the Shikara today. It has fallen. Okay, but it was the first Shikara in India. First Shikara in North India is constructed under this temple, which is known as the Dasavatara Temple, which is present at a place called Diogad in UP. Diogad in UP. And the Dasavatara Temple is an indication of Vaishnavism. I told you, if you remember, the evolution of Hinduism, Vaishnavism is a very popular religion during Guptan period. Okay, in fact, the rulers, they named themselves as Parama Bhagavatas. It means that they are very staunch followers of Vishnu, and his avatars. So that is the reason why they have constructed this temple called Dashavatara Temple, and it is the first example of a standard Nagara temple with a beehive-shaped shikara. Okay, and the features of this temple are a little important. They can ask an independent question on this. The shikara is known as Rekha Prasad Shikara or Latina Shikara. Yes. Then the second one is, it is a Panchayatana temple. There are 5 substrains. Okay, 5 substrains will be present in every temple. So this is known as Panchayatana style. Vishnu will be at the center. Okay, at the outside, there will be smaller strains for 4 other gods. You're getting? Shiva will be there, Parvati will be there, Brahma will be there. Okay, and one more deity. It depends from temple to temple, it varies. So the smaller shrines are present, then it is known as Panchayatana style. This temple is also Panchayatana in style, and this temple, it is very famous for its reliefs, bas relief sculpture. It is very famous for. Okay, there are a lot of sculptures on this temple walls, and of these sculptures, the sculptures of Sheshashaina Vishnu, Naranarayana, and Gajendra Moksha. 3 important sculptures are there: Sheshashaina Vishnu, Gajendra Moksha, and Naranarayana panels. Okay, I'll show you the images of these things. Sheshashaina Vishnu is that. Okay, Sheshashaina Vishnu. Vishnu is sleeping on a serpent. Second one is a Naranarayana panel. There is a discussion between Nara, that is human being, and Narayana, that is God. Okay, and finally Nara will get converted into Narayana. That is the image, right? Pancharatra ceremony, you remember? Naranarayana cult. So that was also depicted on this. Then the third image is this image of Gajendra Moksha. Okay, you see this Gajendra Moksha. Okay, you know about the story of Gajendra Moksha? What happens in Gajendra Moksha? No idea. What is this story of Gajendra Moksha? Okay, very poor in mythology. Crocodile and elephant story. Okay, the crocodile goes and catches the leg of the elephant, and the elephant cries the name of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu immediately comes and he sends his chakra in order to kill the crocodile and liberate the Gajendra. Okay, when in pain, a devotee should look to God. That is the meaning of this thing. Okay, if you are suffering, then you have to run to God. Then God will liberate you. That is the essence of this story, which is known as Gajendra Moksha. You see the image. Okay, Vishnu, he has come on his vehicle Garuda in order to save the elephant. Okay, in order to save the elephant. This is a very famous story, Gajendra Moksha. Gajendra Moksha. So these 3 things are there, and this temple is constructed in a style which is known as Sarvatobhadra style. Sarvatobhadra means this temple can be entered from all sides. Okay, from all sides it can be entered. Okay, not a single entrance, but you can enter from back side, or this side. Sarvatobhadra style, it is called. Sarvatobhadra. Okay, this is the most developed form of Guptan temple, and these later Guptan temples, they are present at 2 places. One is this Diogad, and the other one is this Bithargaon at Kanpur. Okay, there itself you write Iche. This is a late Guptan temple style. Late Guptan temple style is Bithargaon temple at Kanpur. Okay, and the Diogad temple. And the rest of the temples which are given here, all of them are early temples only. All of them are early temples except for this Lakshman temple of Raipur. Lakshman temple of Raipur, which is also known as the Sirpur temple, Sirpur at Chhattisgarh. This is a post-Guptan temple. This is a post-Guptan temple. You write it down. Lakshman. Are these examples given there? They're given, right? Okay, only Lakshman temple is post-Guptan. Okay, Bithargaon temple is present in Kanpur. Okay, they can give which of the following sites have a Guptan temple in them. They will give the name. Okay, and then you have to mark it correctly. Okay, they don't ask to discriminate between later Guptan and early Guptan at any point of time. That is not possible. But they will ask, by giving sites, they will ask in which of these places early temples of India are present. Okay, then you have to identify that Tigawa, Bhumra, Nachnakutar, Kota, Raipur, Koh, Gajipur, Kanpur, okay, along with Diogad and Bithargaon. Earlier I talked about, right? So all of them are places where the early Guptan temples are present. This is important. Early Guptan temples are present. This finishes the discussion on the Guptan temples. The next one is Odissan temple, the temples of Odisha. If you are feeling a little confused, then it is a good sign. Okay, don't think that it is a bad sign, it is a good sign. Okay, because you need to read them multiple number of times. Only then there will be clarity. But structurally, I think you got the picture right. Okay, what is what Bolke? Now, the same Nagara features, they have many regional manifestations, and the best of which is the Odissan temples. Okay, Odissan temples, they are the best form of Nagara temple. They are classical in their format. Okay, classical in their format. Okay, it is a sub-style of Nagara. And here, okay, there are some terms that you need to know. Okay, Shikara in the Odissan temple is known as Diyul. Diyul is nothing but the Shikara. Diyul is nothing but the Shikara. And okay, Amalak in this temples are known as Mastak. Amalak is known as Mastak. Amalak is Mastak. Okay, Shikara is known as Diyul. Okay, Diyul, Mastak. And here in these temples, the Shikara has horizontal divisions which are known as Rathas. Which are known as Rathas. It has vertical projections called Rushringas. I'll show the Rushringas. I told you I will show them. I'll show them. Okay, Rushringas and the horizontal divisions are called Rathas. Rathas. Okay, and this is a very, very prominent and important example of how the temple looks like. Okay, usually this is the Garbhagriha. Okay, Garbhagriha has a top to it, okay, which is known as the Rekha Diyul or Latina Diyul. And here in this school, it is known as Diyul. It's known as Diyul. Same style. Then, along with that, there will be multiple number of mandapas which will be present. Multiple number of mandapas which will be present. And on top of mandapas, usually we have the second kind of Shikara which is known as Pida Diyul. Okay, Pida Diyul. Pida Diyul is the second kind of Shikara. What is the second kind of Shikara earlier? Pamasana, remember? So the same kind of Pamasana style is present on the mandapas which is known as Pida Diyul. And the last type is Vallabi type. Yes. Okay, and here this Vallabi type is known as Karka Diyula. Okay, vestibule, horseshoe shaped top, pyramidical top, and curvilinear top. Three kinds of tops are there, right? Three Shikaras are I'm showing here. Okay, curvilinear Shikara in Nagara it is known as Rekha Prasad or Latina, and here it is known as Diyul. Okay, the second one is Pamasana, which is pyramidical, and pyramidical style here is known as Pida Diyul, and the third one is known as the Vallabi style, and it is known as Khakra Diyul. Okay, Khakra Diyul. Okay, so this way the thing is divided. Okay, this is the way the thing is divided. This is known as the Odissan style. Okay, and here the mandapas have separate names which are known as Jagmohan, Nat Mandir, and Bhog Mandir. Jagmohan, Nat Mandir, and Bhog Mandir are the names which are given to the various structures which are present in the temple. Mandapas mein Jagmohan is the place where usually the prasada is given, distributed. Nat Mandir is the cultural center. Okay, and Bhog Mandir is also similarly the place where dance, drama, and music are conducted. Nat Mandir and Bhog Mandir, they have the same function. Bhog Mandir, and usually the Bhog Mandirs are very large structures. Okay, very large structures. Bhog Mandir, Nat Mandir, and Jagmohan. Three parts are there. And these temples, okay, the unique feature of these temples is they are very well ornated or decorated on the outside, but in the interiors there will be no decoration. There will be no decoration in the interior, and only outside we see decoration, and it is very simple from inside. And along with that, okay, these temples, they are having no pillars. That is what is known as Astilar style. Okay, Astilar means they don't have any pillars in the inside. But I told you that for trebuchet structure, pillars are very important. Yes, pillar beam structure. But here in Odisha style, what they did is they removed these pillars, and in its place they used iron girders for supporting the top. Iron girder. Iron girder means an iron support structure. In order to hold the beams, rather than using pillars, they use this iron girders. Okay, this is important. Iron girder is connected to the wall directly. Okay, there is no need for pillar in this structure. Okay, this is very important. Astilar structure. Without any pillars, the structures are constructed, and they are held with the help of iron girders which provided the support for the building. Iron girder which provided for the support for the building. Along with that, okay, this has sanctum, that is Garbhagriha, vestibule, that is Antrala, and assembly halls, those are known as mandapas. Okay, and these things are separated from each other. I'll show the images, then you will understand. They are separated from each other, unlike the other Nagara style temples, and they also have prakara walls and ornamented toranas. Ornamented toranas at entranceway are present. Okay, I'll show these things. Okay, this is the typical temple. This is a typical temple. This is the image of the Jaganatha Puri temple, which is also known as the White Pagoda. Okay, White Pagoda it is called. Okay, and this temple, okay, this is the mastak. Okay, this mastak is larger than Amalak. Okay, then along with that, there is, okay, Kalash, same thing. Then curvilinear structure is there. Okay, curvilinear structure is known as Diula. And there are vertical projections to this. Okay, vertical projections. See this? See this? Vertical projections. These are known as Rushringas. Okay, these are known as Rushringas. Then typically the temples are divided into horizontal brackets too, this way. And these horizontal divisions are known as Rathas. Okay, then along with that, there is one attached mandapa. This is the Jagmohana. Okay, and Jagmohana has a pyramidal shape, Pamasana, which is also known as Pida Diula. Are you getting this? Okay, this is a Pida Diula. This is not in the shape of this curvilinear structure. It is in pyramidal shape. Okay, so this is the thing. And then along with that, okay, if you see, typically in South Indian temple also we see, let's suppose this is the Garbhagriha, the mandapas will be distributed in the temple complex here and there. They will not all be connected at one place. Yes or no? Go to Hampi, go to Belur, any place for that matter. Okay, the mandapas are separated from the central structure. Yes. Similarly, in Odishan style also, there will be a prakara wall to the temple, just like South Indian temples. But in North Indian temples, this is not the feature. This is the, in fact, in the influence of the Dravida style on Odisha style. They have a prakara wall. Okay, apart from prakara wall, Garbhagriha will be here, and the rest of the mandapas, they will be distributed across the temple here and there. They will not be connected to the central structure. Are you following this? Okay, so this is known as what is it? Okay, I have given it there. Sanctum, vestibule, and assembly halls are usually separate. Prakara walls are present, and in the prakara walls, okay, at the places of entrance, we have this ornamented toranas. Toranas are entrance gateways. Ornamented toranas are present at the entrances. So this is one more feature of the temple. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is known as White Pagoda, and this is important. That is Sun Temple. Sun Temple, which is also known as Black Pagoda. Okay, Sun Temple is also known as Black Pagoda. And it is very popular, and it is present in Konark. It is present in Konark, also known as Black Pagoda. Black Pagoda. It has been constructed by the Eastern Ganga dynasty. Eastern Ganga dynasty it constructed, and the king who constructed it is Narsimha Deva. Okay, Narsimha Deva. And this temple is set on a higher base. Okay, most of the Nagara temples, they are constructed on a raised platform. Yes, you are able to understand it. Next, it is said to have the highest shikara which crumbled under its own weight in 19th century. Okay, today we don't have the shikara of this temple. Okay, I'll show you the temple complex. The image. Okay, this is very popular. Okay, this was supposed to be the central structure. On this, there was a shikara at one point of time, but the shikara, it crumbled on its own weight. Okay, Konark Sun Temple, it doesn't have a shikara of its own today. Okay, then apart from that, if you see, the other aspects, the Sun Temple is in the shape of a gigantic chariot. Okay, the entire temple has been constructed in the form of a chariot, okay, which is being dragged by, okay, some 12 pairs of wheels. Okay, 12 pairs of wheels, that is 24 wheels it has. Okay, along with that, there are, how many horses are there? Horses, I think there are 7 horses. Okay, there are 7 horses which pull this temple, okay, which it is depicted in this format. Okay, stone sculpture horses are there. Along with that, these horses are, it is shown as if these horses are pulling the temple outside the ocean. Okay, ocean se bahar aa rahe, jaise it will look that way. Okay, so it is in fact considered as a Ratha of sun god. Ratha of sun god, okay, and it is known as the Black Pagoda, very, very famous temple this is. And it is on the bank of a river called Chandrabag River. Okay, Chandrabag River ke banks pe hai. This has been asked as a UPSC prelims question. Okay, Chandrabag River ke bare mein they asked a question. Okay, Chandrabag River, and okay, it is resembles a celestial chariot of sun. And there are the images, ornamentation is made of Maithuna couples. Maithuna couples means the couple who are shown in loving poses. Okay, loving poses are known as Maithuna couples. Okay, they are depicted here. And it is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, when viewed from land during dawn and sunrise, the chariot-shaped temple appears to emerge from the depths of the blue sea, carrying the sun. Okay, it looks that way. Okay, it looks that way. That is the reason why it has been constructed, and it is known as the famous Black Pagoda. Okay, so this is the temple complex. This is the temple complex, but it doesn't have a shikara of its own. It doesn't have a shikara of its own. So this is very important. And along with that, okay, when it comes to the Jaganatha cult, okay, Jaganatha Puri temple is there, right? Okay, so you write it down. Write it down. Okay. Periodically, the Jaganatha temple, it has a cult called Naba Kalebara cult. Naba Kalebara. Naba Kalebara cult. Periodically, okay, a festival called Naba Kalebara is conducted. Okay, I told you, if you remember, the Jaganatha Puri temple, the chief deity is made of wood, but not of stone. And wood, it gets disintegrated with time. Okay, whenever the wood gets disintegrated, they change the wood. And the festival, okay, where the wood is changed is known as a Naba Kalebara festival. It is conducted every 10 years or 12 years, I think, or lesser. How many years? I guess. Okay, it is not fixed, I think. Okay, usually it is conducted it is conducted periodically. Okay, every 10 years or so. Okay, they change the wooden image and they will place a new wooden image there. This is known as the Naba Kalebara festival. Okay, Naba Kalebara festival, it is very popular in Odisha. It is very popular in Odisha, which is known as Naba Kalebara festival, and it is associated with the Jaganatha Puri temple, which is also known as White Pagoda. Okay, White Pagoda. These names of White and Black Pagoda, they were given by the Europeans. When they were coming from sea, okay, they were functioning as lighthouses for them. They were able to see them from a lot of distance, and they used to name them as Black Pagoda and White Pagoda. Okay, so white stone and black stone were used. So this is the story of the Odissan temples. Okay, this is the wheel. Okay, this is the Konark Sun Temple wheel. Okay, on one of your currency notes also this is there. Okay, which one I don't know, 10 rupees or 20 rupees, I don't exactly remember, but this is depicted on that. Okay, there are in total 24 wheels of this format on the temple walls. Along with that, 7 independent sculptures of horses are there, and it is shown as if the horses are dragging the temple outside of ocean. Okay, Chandrabag river ke banks pe hai, and the largest structure is, the Shikara was considered to be the tallest structure at one point of time, but it has fallen under its own weight. Okay, because it is unpillared. Only iron girders are supporting. If the iron girder cuts, then automatically the structure falls. Unlike the other temples. This is astilar. Okay, very important. The only temple which is astilar, okay, pillarless temple is only Odisha. In all other temples there are pillars. Okay, so this is the story of the Odissan architecture, and I don't know why, okay, but over the past 5-6 years, UPSC is very much fascinated with sun temples. Okay, not Vishnu, not Shiva, okay, not Brahma. It is fascinated with sun temples. And before year also, they asked which of the following places have sun temples in them. Last year. Okay, not this year, last year's paper, there was this question. So that is the reason why I have put all the sun temples at one place, so that it will be easier for you guys to remember them. Okay, and last year they asked a question, gave the options of Konark, okay, Modera, then Arsavalli, okay, these kind of things. Arsavalli is a very, very small village in Andhra, okay, Srikakulam district, one small village is there. There is a sun temple. Okay, how can a UPSC aspirant know about it? Okay, is it not difficult? Yes or no? And earlier also they never asked the sun temple questions. Sometimes the questions are bouncers. Okay, we should not do anything about them. We should just, whenever a bouncer comes, you should duck. Okay, that is what you do. Okay, in examination too. Unnecessarily, if you try to hook it and take it to a 6, you will get duck out. Okay, that is the problem. Okay, in this examination, some questions you should definitely leave. Okay, it is not possible for any person, for that matter, okay, to answer all the questions. Even you bring any IAS officer also, he will not be able to. That's the reason why preliminary is a qualifying examination. You just qualify. And this is one such bouncer question. Okay, just have a look at the temples. Modera Sun Temple, we'll discuss about it in Gujarat, very popular. Then Brahmanya Dev Temple, Unnao. Surya Narayan Kovil, Kumbakonam. Surya Narayana Swami Temple, Arsavalli. Okay, Andhra Pradesh. Dakshinarka Temple, Gaya, Bihar. Then Navalaka Temple, Gujarat. Then Martan Sun Temple, Kashmir. Okay, of these temples, I knew about Modera, Martand, then Arsaviti, because I visited the temple, I knew about it. Okay, I was able to, I would have easily opted the right answer. So that's the reason why traveling is also a little important. You people should roam around. Okay, roam around, and whenever you go to temple, okay, my suggestion is whichever temple you go to, okay, it will cost you not more than 200 or 300 rupees, but you should take a guide. Okay, particularly historical places, whichever historical place you go to, you take a guide. Okay, you will get a very good picture of the temple. Okay, very good picture. Okay, Belur Halebeedu is very nearby. Okay, if you visit there, you take a guide, then through his eyes you will be able to see what is exactly this structure. Okay, otherwise it is impossible. Okay, you'll never be able to understand whatever it might be. Okay, Hampi ko jao. Okay, Hampi maybe in Hampi the guide is a little costly because he has to spend a lot of time with you. He's not just showing one temple; he's showing a city to you. So it will take more time. Maybe okay, some 500-600 rupees they will charge, but they give a very good picture of Hampi. Okay, that's the reason why make it a hobby to travel to some good historical places. Okay, you'll get to know what Indian culture exactly is. Okay, what Indian culture exactly is, and what kind of traditions were there in construction, why a particular image is placed at a place. Okay, these kind of things you will get an understanding of. And maybe, okay, if the same question comes in UPSC, you will be able to answer that question too. Okay, I'm not asking you to stop your preparation and travel country. Okay, I'm not doing that. I'm just telling that as an additional thing. Okay, whenever you go to a place, okay, you take a guide. Okay, so this finishes the discussion on the Odisha temples. Next, after coming back from the break, we are going to discuss the Chandela temples.